All right, welcome to Jack Dodson's Racing Insider News. Again, without Scott Allen, but I did see him this weekend at Martinsville, and he's still not looking any better, but whatever. Got Robbie Morris, who's going to be driving a modified this year, and I got a special guest co-host over there, Billy Smith. We finally got him away from the shop long enough to come over here, and he might fall asleep on us. But
I appreciate the break.
He might fall asleep on us, but we'll keep him alive over there for a little while. All right, our show tonight is presented by Papa John's. They just delivered our pizzas just a minute ago, so we appreciate all they do for us. Got Smith's Wraps and Graphics. Billy Smith's over there. Well, come on now. GAC, Great American Enterprises from Herndon, Virginia. Our buddy Guillermo Amaya up there, he's got a construction operation that he's got, like, I think the last time I heard, he's got like 25 construction projects stretched out all the way from Northern Virginia, all the way down the East Coast, and all the way over to Texas. So he's got a lot going on at one time, kind of like Billy Smith's rapping, all the stuff he's got going on. Bondrett Brothers Distillery from Chase City, Virginia. Our buddy Robert Bondrett, I got to get down there and see him. He's got a whole bunch of stuff for me down there. We're gonna come back and probably give out some moonshine. Anybody want some moonshine? We got some coming. Pepsi. We are sponsored by Pepsi, and I tell you what, Scott and I go through a bunch of Pepsis and Mountain Dews and everything. MPM Marketing, Precision Marketing, Tanya McAllister. A lot of people have gone through Tanya McAllister to help with their marketing, and she does race uniforms. She does public speaking seminars. She does a lot of stuff and keeps everybody informed and does a lot of good work for each of the drivers she has under her umbrella. Tonight we'll have Andria Calkins on from Factory Canopies. She give us these great chairs and table coverings and everything. We appreciate all that. Black Acid Apparel gave us some shirts. I'm still, I told Bill Petroff, I'm not sold on one of them shirts he gave us, but because Scott looks like a cartoon and I look like a blockhead, so I'm not really sure about that. Safety Clean and Performance Plus Motor Oil. They're basically Scott's racing sponsors, but they have helped us out a little bit on the show too. And of course, Langley Speedway, where we do our show every week from here at the Media Center at Langley Speedway. I want to thank Vaughn and Chuck and especially Bill Mullis for letting us have this place to do this. And before we get started, let's do some news. We got the Smith's Wraps and Graphics Weekend Roundup. We're going to do a little bit about all the racing that took place this weekend. I understand Robbie went up to Dominion, so maybe he can tell us a little bit about Dominion when I do the Dominion part of it. And so let's see what we got going on. Big weekend at Richmond International. Well, not Richmond International anymore. It's Richmond Raceway. The Xfinity race went to Ty Gibbs. I think he kind of used up a little bit of John Hunter Nemechek. They come off the track and they were not very happy. But Nemechek was very nice about not saying anything because Mr. Gibbs was not far away. And I'm not talking about Ty. I'm talking about the big man. The Cup win went to Denny Hamlin. Came with, I think it was like 70 or 80 laps left in the race. He was like 15 some seconds behind. He made up all that time and came and got the win. Kevin Harvick was second, and he did about to say he followed him right through. And I was kind of wondering what would happen if he ever got to his bumper. Would Kevin put him in?
It's been a while since Kevin won one. I'm pretty sure that he would do what he had to.
He's on a pretty long winless streak.
Yeah, it's been over a year. I don't think they said the other day it's the first time it's ever happened in his career.
But at least they're getting the car looking better. Yeah, they're competitive now. And in the NASCAR Touring Modified Series on Friday night, I guess was it Friday night? Justin Bonsignori got the win in the modifieds. Down at Tri-County Speedway, the late model race was won by Thomas Bean. At Nashville, the late model win went to Cole Williams. at Hickory, they had a double header for the late models. Annabeth Barnes-Crum got the win, and William Sawalich, I guess that's how you say his name, he got the second win in the late models up there, and I think he is like won like 6 or 7 races already this year. He's doing well. And in the Carolina Pro Late Model Series, Caden Quapple got the win. I think he's got a bunch of wins this year.
He's on a roll too.
At Carteret, now, I just heard no more than 15 minutes ago, down at Carteret, I don't know who finished second in that race, but I understand he is now the winner.
I've heard something happen. I've been hearing some rumblings.
He's now the winner. Connor did not win the race. Connor Hall won the race on the track, but they found something illegal and took the win away from him. So I just found out about it just moments ago. So I don't know the whole story. In fifth place, kid from over in Williamsburg, I'm sure y'all have heard of, Tristan McKee. I did not know until he came on the show that he's 11 years old.
He's a wheel man though.
11 years old. He finished fifth in Carteret. That was a big deal. Down at Wake County, Clay Jones got the late model win. In the bandos, Emily Day got the win. I don't know. Do you know Emily Day by chance?
I've seen the pictures, and the first time I had seen.
I had never heard of her, but she got the win, and I think Phoenix Kimball finished third, as far as I know. I'm not really positive. Down at A Speedway, Lane Riggs got the win, and Dylan Harville got the limited late model win. At Sobo, Lane Riggs got the win at Sobo, and I think that's his third win at Sobo already. And in the Smart Modified Series, Matt Hirschman got the win. I think he has won just about every race in the Smart Modifieds but one. Down at Thompson Speedway in Connecticut, DJ Shaw got the win in the late models up there. At Dominion Raceway, the Bando winner was Brian Runstrom. The Dominion Racer, which is their version of the limited late models, Nick Leitz got one win, and Alex Brock got the other win. In the modifieds, Mike Rudy got the win. Neil Cully got the win in the second race, and I never heard where Matt Carter finished up.
Matt finished
third in the first one. I knew that. Yeah.
Fourth in the second.
So, all right. So I know he's ready to get back to Langley and get the racing here. A big announcement this past weekend also was that the SRX Racing Series, the Tony Stewart, Ray Evernham Series, Peyton Sellers is going to be driving an SRX car at Sobo. That's going to be a big deal. And I think it's not known yet, but I think he's got a big enough lead in the votes. They say Bubba Pollard is going to be at Nashville in this SRX car. I'm going to the SRX race at I-55 in Peevely, Missouri. I'm going to do that race and go out there and watch it. And I understand Haley Deegan's going to be there.
Yeah, see what she signed up again this year as well.
Yeah.
You have Bubba Pollard in first and Brittany Zamora in second. I can't remember who third place was in votes for Nashville.
And somebody named Rhonda Smith. You know what I'm talking about? She said that guy's cute. I don't know if she was talking about me or Robbie.
She likes me a whole lot better when I'm not around.
So anyway, also at Richmond this past weekend, the fastest pit stop in NASCAR history occurred. Kyle Busch's crew did a pit stop at 9.19 seconds. That's the fastest one. I did and did some talking with some people while I was up there about these wheels keep coming loose on these cup cars and how they have to hit them little things in the little notches in the back of the hub onto the
lock in.
For it to lock in. And if you don't match them up right, that center hub is not, that center lock is not going to do anything for you. It's just going to come loose. And so now they're trying to figure out, why that's going to, how they can make that work a little different. So from what I was talking about. The NASCAR Hall of Fame put out their list of people who are eligible for the Hall of Fame this coming time. The voting, I think, is starting before the Charlotte race. Neil Bonnet, Tim Brewer, Kirk Shelmadine, Ralph Moody, Jeff Burton, Herschel McGriff, Banjo Matthews, Carl Edwards, Matt Kenseth, Harry Hyde, Ricky Rudd, AJ Foyt, Larry Phillips, and Sam Ard. Now, I'm gonna go out on the limb here all to myself. These guys don't have nothing to do with this, or nobody else does. I'm still trying to figure out how you can put Jeff Burton in the Hall of Fame ahead of some of these people. I granted he won some races, okay? Never won a championship. And nothing, I don't think he ran in anything except like a late model. He may have won a late model championship. He's not won any of those. I have a hard time with that because you got guys like Sam Hard. Look how many wins Sam Hard had in his time. Championships.
Larry Phillips. I mean,
Larry Phillips. He was the king of the Midwest. And Herschel McGriff out on the West Coast. He was how do you not put like Harry Hyde?
There's some definitely good names this year. So.
Harry Hyde and Ralph Moody.
To hear Carl Edwards as well. I mean, they're the championship and stuff, but I mean.
I have a hard time with these guys. I know they have to make it somewhat modern for people to get excited about the Hall of Fame. I understand that. But when you got guys like Banjo Matthews, Harry Hyde, some of these guys, and now especially Sam Ard,
right?
How do you not put them in ahead of somebody like Jeff Burton, who's not won a championship, won some races? I'll give him that. He's won races. Carl Edwards never won a championship. I think, or he did. He won a
Xfinity maybe or
Xfinity.
Yeah,
I think maybe he did.
Yeah.
So that
the only championship, him and Tony had that year where they had the battle where it was came out at one point. I think at the end.
I just don't see. To me, I've said here. Al Pierce is a voting member of the Hall of Fame, and we've sat here and discussed it. And I've come up with some of the things and said, look, man, that's not right. Yeah. Some of these people going in. Mark Martin was a prime example. Won a lot of races, was a great guy, but how do you put him ahead of some of these other people?
Right.
So that's my opinion. I'm gonna stick to it. And the Landmark Award for having great effect on the sport. Alvin Hawkins. Who's Alvin Hawkins, Robbie?
I don't know that name. Last time you got me with Red Farmer, okay?
I've heard Red Farmer. I never heard
Alvin Hawkins. Alvin Hawkins was
you're a lot older than me, so I don't feel as bad now. Okay.
Okay, now you're really making me mad because I know who it was. Alvin Hawkins was the first ever flagman in NASCAR.
Okay.
On the NASCAR Cup Series, he was the first ever flagman. He's the one who got a lot of the things started to put into place as far as NASCAR goes. He was there from the very beginning until he passed away.
That's cool.
So, Janet Guthrie, Mike Helton, Dr. Joseph Mattioli, and Lisa France Kennedy. All those people are up for the Landmark Award. I'm pretty sure Mike Helton will probably end up with it.
Yeah.
But anyway. So, all right, that's the news. That's the Smith's Wraps and Graphics Racing Roundup for this past weekend. We got Langley Speedway opening up this weekend with what the limiteds are running? No, they're not running.
Yeah, they don't open until the 16th.
Oh, okay. Well, that's cool. And
so we won't miss that yet.
Okay, well, cool. That's a good thing. And then you don't come out till the 16th. So anyway, Robbie is going to be driving a modified this year.
Try to at least.
How did you jump from where you did to a modified? Be honest now.
That's a good question. I figured it would just be, let's just try to jump to it and see what happens. And it's working so far. I've heard a lot of people say, you're jumping from a U car to a modified. That's stupid, whatever. But a lot of the people in my crew, you can ask them. When we were in U car, we sucked. It was every week. It was something that happened to the car. It would be mechanical failure. We'd come out the next week. Last year, for prime example, we came out one night. Hub broke off the car. We loaded it up, took it home, brought it back with the new hub on it. Same week, motor blows up, and it was just like. But it went in the U car. There was just a lot of people love the U car more because they can drive that. And I just couldn't get comfortable in the car. We come out here in a modified, and it just felt like when I got in it and took 10 laps around, it felt like I had been racing it for years, is how quickly I became comfortable with the car and understanding the boundaries of how far we could push it. And little secret here, I actually got cussed out that day because it was supposed to be on the first day, first time in the car, it was supposed to be, all right, let's go out here, feel the car out, make sure everything's good. And in 10 laps, it went to, all right, let's go full speed and see how far we can push it through turn one.
I don't know if I'd go full speed the first day with a modified or not.
Plus, it was in November, so it was a cold track, cold tires, old tires. We're still running on, I think last time we checked, we got about 400 laps on those tires.
So how did you come across this modified? Who did you get it from? And give us a little history.
So, at first, back in, we have two cars. One's just a rolling chassis, and it came from Robbie Babb. I was sitting there one day, and Robbie Babb posted it for sale, and I was like, dang, that's a good modified. That's a good deal. I'm going to go check it out, and I ended up taking it home like a week later. And then I got a really good buddy of mine that he wanted to get into racing. He's in the music industry, and the people that he was working with kind of didn't want him to be as far in it as he wanted to be. So he calls me one day and just goes, hey, man, I see that there's a car for sale that's like 2 or 3 hours away. Would you drive it? And we'll figure out the logistics later. And then it turned into, oh, no, the car's yours. You go race it.
All right. I wish I'd have had that when I was coming along.
I'll tell you, it was like a blessing in disguise, honestly, because it was easier, you know.
So who's all going to help you out with the car at the racetrack?
We actually don't have too many people right now. I've got Courtney, got her brother Josh, and I've got Jared Satterley spotting for me, and a couple people that come from their crew. They'll help out when they can. It's almost like whoever can help that day. We don't have dedicated except for Josh and Courtney right now.
So Courtney's going to be the crew chief and tell you what to do, right? Go ahead, you can tell us.
I might be a little scared of that. I mean, I think I might have to be my own crew chief in the car.
You can't drive and be crew chief too.
I think you can.
You can?
I think so.
Now, you going to give her a radio?
She doesn't. She actually, so all last year, she had a radio, and I think she would say one thing on it right before the race, and that was it.
Yeah, you're driving a bigger car this time. You might get some more words.
A little bit louder too, then.
You know what I think you ought to do?
Just turn the radio down.
You know what I think you ought to do? And I'm being serious.
Uh-oh.
You need to pack up one of them radios and bring it up here to Stephanie and let her have it.
No, I'm even better on that. Because you know, no, I'm good on that one. I think I'd rather have no radio at all, and we'll try to.
Andrew Fuller said he'll help you when he comes. Now, I'm not sure how much help that's going to be. He'll take pictures of it.
I've already told him, hey, man, you know, come take some. I'll tell you, Andrew Fuller takes some really good pictures.
Absolutely. He's a good kid too. He's starting to race go-karts now himself.
Yeah, down at Millbridge. I talked to him the other day about it.
Yeah, he's making his debut down at Millbridge next week. His debut next week. So that's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, it'll be fun to watch.
So he is a good kid. He has a lot of good stuff going on with him, and I love going down and hanging out down there and seeing what all he's up to.
Oh yeah, we went down a couple of times this year. We went to Summer Shootout, and then we went to Winter Heat when they run the Roval down there at Charlotte. We hung out with him for a little bit, and that was definitely fun.
There must be something going on here I don't understand. Somebody says quit flirting with somebody. You flirting?
What are you doing over there, bud?
Some girl named Jennifer Clark. Crabtree?
Yes, she's a friend of our race together.
Oh, so it was you.
Her son is actually at our house right now, servicing our trailer for our trip this week, making sure that it's very ready for us. So we appreciate that greatly. Josh is there helping us out.
All right,
You're on
Andrea, we're
Super
still
Street,
waiting
right?
on you. Andrea Calkins is going. We're waiting on you. You're supposed to be 7:15, so let's get on with it. I don't know where you're at, but come on. So tell us what it was like when you jumped in that modified, and you said it took a little while. And you felt like you were supposed to be there, but what was it like the first time you sat down in that car? And then I know it had to feel better it had to feel a little different than a U car.
So I'll tell you, when we went and picked the car up, I didn't even put the car in the trailer. It's actually Matt Ashworth's old car, the white 10 that he drove out here. And he had his guys there, and they loaded the car up for me because I was loading up all the extra parts and everything. Never driven a modified at all, never driven anything with that amount of power in it. And we come home from Mechanicsville and we stop at my mom's house in Portsmouth off of Frederick Boulevard. I know you know where that's at.
Yeah.
And we take the car to my mom's house, and my mom doesn't move around too good. So instead of her walking to the trailer door and seeing the car in the trailer, she goes, no, take the car out of the trailer. So here I am going around a block in Portsmouth in a 500 to 600 horsepower car that's running off an open header, and everybody down her road is just like, what in the world? So we couldn't open it up too much, but for actually taking laps, we came out here back in November because I wanted to come test in October, but Courtney didn't want me to do that because if we came in and tested in October, it would have been right before the Blue Zone Memorial. She knows how I am. If I would have felt comfortable enough, we would have been running Blue Zone Memorial.
Don't know that I would have tried that the first night.
No. That's why. So
we better go home.
Yeah, go big. Yeah. So we came out in November, and I sat in the car, got all buckled up, and I was coming down the back stretch and just putting around. And Jared comes over the radio and he said, I know you can go faster than that. And it actually became a point where my adrenaline was flowing so fast that I could not keep my foot on the throttle because my foot was shaking so bad.
Wow.
It got my attention, but we're all good now.
Well, I hope so, because you ain't got much time to not be good. You got to get yourself together.
No, we're okay now. I think we'll be okay.
You going to do any more testing before the first race?
It's up in the air.
You going to let Courtney drive or something?
No.
No.
Thank God she cannot drive a stick, so we're okay. She can't drive a manual transmission, so we're good.
Wow. Okay.
I actually tried to teach Josh how to drive a manual the other day in a U-car.
Josh don't know how to drive a manual either?
No.
He stalled it out about 7 times across the front yard, and finally I told him, I said, look, just hammer off the clutch and hammer the gas at the same time. You'll go at some point. And I never told him how to stop. And he's taking it around to the backyard, and after he gets going, he takes off. And I was just sitting there thinking, well, I didn't tell him how to stop, and there's nothing but trees back there, so either he's going to hit something or he's going to stop. So I come around the backyard. I didn't hear the car. And I asked him, I said, well, how'd you get the car to stop? He goes, I just hit the brake pedal until it stopped. I said, so you stall it back out.
I went to the Richard Petty driving school in Atlanta. Somebody gave it to me as a Christmas present, and so I went down there, and my son went with me, and everybody knows he was in racing for a while, and we go down there, and he was a little fella then, and they would take me around, put me in the car. Well, I haven't already drove a race car.
Right.
Getting buckled in was not a big deal. So I jump in the car and I'm putting the belts on and everything, and the guy leaves, you can't do that. We have to put the belts on. So I had to take them all loose and let him put them all back on. Then my son leans in the window and he said, Dad, promise me one thing. I said, what's that? He said, you're not going to stall that car out. Luckily, I didn't do it,
Yeah.
but that was, I can understand how that can happen. But,
It's okay. I did it the other day when we came and tested.
well, I put my son in my little mini stock at 9 years old. And, I was thinking, oh, he ain't gonna do it. That kid took off and went down the street with the car, and I didn't even, I won't expected him to do that.
I learned how to drive manual in my first U car. That was not interesting.
I'm just finding it hard to believe that them Rangers don't know how to drive them. That amazes me.
I told him to let me drive stick or let me learn
Problem
how
is
to.
she's got short legs, so she's not learning how to drive manual in the modified. I'm sorry.
You can let her drive it for a little while. It ain't gonna hurt nothing.
It's got a brand new clutch in it, and they are expensive. We
Pretty
ain't ready to
strong,
burn it up yet.
They're pretty strong. They're pretty neat each other. They get your attention pretty quick.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so who else sponsoring you this year for your racing?
We got a good buddy of mine, Joe, down at Patriot Performance and Automotive down in Elizabeth City. He's helped us out tremendously since we've got the car. JD Oval Insurance in Carrollton and Chesapeake. Jonathan and Control helped us out a little bit this year. And it's awesome because they haven't been around the racing scene. So not only do they help us, but we kind of help them come into the sport and understand what's going on. We got this guy. He put a badass wrap on our car. And he definitely knocked it out of the park because, I sent him a couple pictures and I was like, hey, man, this is what I want. And then I looked at my phone one day and I was like, wow. Yeah, whenever you're ready. And we got Josh partnered up with us at Racetrack Action this year. Try to get him some publicity out there and then, return with us.
And I'm gonna put 2 stickers on there too, because you already asked me mine. So, that'll help you out. Even Scott don't run them on his car, so.
We ain't worried about Scott. Scott's not here tonight.
Yeah, well, you're right. Things have run a whole lot smoother since he's not been here, But he'll be back I think he's supposed to come back on the 19th, so we'll have him back then. So, that'll be fun to get him back in here and let him talk some trash because that's all he knows to do. But anyway, I saw pictures of your car. You sent me some pictures that you said wasn't for me to start with.
Yeah.
But I saw the picture. Your car looks good.
Yeah, he knocked it out of the park. It's funny because me and Courtney were sitting in a shop, and I kept, every time he'd do something, I'd walk over and look at it. She goes, you just need to sit down and wait until he's done. And I'd get up again.
Well, he said what Billy should have done is not let you in here till he finished.
I know it.
How many cars, Billy, have you done this year?
I think we're going to have right around 60 out here this year.
Nice.
So, we're very proud of that. Like I said, as long as they don't all get messed up the first night, we'll be fine.
So-
We'll get them all done.
So you got 60 cars, so right at 60 cars.
Yeah.
Fixed up, graphics, design, whatever you call it. Got them all straight. That's a huge undertaking from the end of last year till this year.
Yeah, it's been crazy. Last year we got busier with racing than we gotten in the past few years. It's just me and my wife at the shop, so we try to only take on what we can take on. It keeps on growing at this point now to where it just keeps managing to grow, and we keep on trying to get everything done we can get done. Sometimes it gets a little harder, especially this time of year with all the cars at one time. But last year we probably had 40 or so by the end of the year, and then now at this point we're getting that many more for the winter.
And you do a heck of a job. I got to give it to you. I've seen your stuff. You do a heck of a job.
Thank you very much.
I've seen some other guys. The details that you put on these cars are really good.
We take pride in it. Racing. And Langley Speedway is very, very important to me. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing if it was not for Langley Speedway. I fell in love with seeing how race cars looked, and if I go somewhere my dad wasn't racing, I'd always pick out the best looking car, so, and I always joke to this day that my teachers back in the day told me that drawing pictures of race cars in my school books wasn't going to get me anywhere. They were wrong at this point.
Yeah.
So, but no, I get the color for a living, and I enjoy that. So,
But you have to enjoy what you're doing to be able to do do the work you're doing and with, I mean, how good you do it. So that's amazing. I mean, it's amazing to me.
I appreciate it. To me, I'm just fortunate to have. I always tell everybody that I'm not a very smart person, so it's a good thing I can do this because I wasn't gonna get around my education or my brain. So, but lucky for me, I found a niche, and the Langley family really takes care of me. They always joke, one of the things like, why do you do so many race cars? They don't pay anything. Race car guys don't have any money. And they're right. For the most part, they don't, and I'm patient. But they're a great network of salespeople that send everybody to me that they can, which is a lot of the reason why our business is growing at this point. I mean, I got at this point 60 of my own little sales groups out there at this point. Who did your race car, or at this point, if they hear somebody needing something, I mean, there's hardly a week that goes by that somebody doesn't send a referral to us from out here. So it's important for us to be here.
Yeah, it really is because your best part about it is you're very accessible to this area.
Right.
To where if you're going to have somebody do some of these graphics, you may have to go somewhere else to get it done.
Right.
I know there was one in Richmond that everybody goes to.
It's a ARCA.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Buck, Hayden Townsend and Buck and them are up there. Yes, they're up that, and they handle a lot of the Richmond stuff that way. So me and Buck are great friends. We've grown up together. So we actually work hand in hand at times. If he needs a logo or something that I've got over the time for somebody that he's doing something for, I shoot it to him and vice versa or whatever. So we help each other out when we can as well.
Well, that's good that you work together on stuff like that. That takes a lot of.
We're not in competition at all. I mean, they have their set of people and customers and stuff, and we do as well. So we don't step on each other's toes at all.
So you basically cover Langley, and he basically does a lot with Dominion.
Up that way, he does. Yeah, in South Boston and up that towards that direction because he's around Torp and the guys that build the race cars and stuff that run that way. So you get a lot of that business, and that's the reason I get it around here as well. So we're close and local, and we try to make sure we give our racers a good job.
Well, that you do. And now we're getting ready for Miley to start her season up this year. So Miley Cyrus. I couldn't call her name out, so I started calling her Miley Cyrus.
I can remember.
But she's got some big sponsorship with her this year in the bandos,
yeah.
And that's a big deal for y'all too. I mean,
we're excited. You would have thought a year ago when we started this that we would be going to Martinsville this weekend and having on display at the fan zone with 811, and they're sponsoring the Martinsville race this weekend with Call 811, right. The Xfinity race, and we were fortunate enough to get linked up with VA 811 and Nikki with here, and then with Papa John's and Amanda, which is also known for the show, and it's kind of started to grow its own legs at this point, and so now we're headed to Martinsville this weekend, and she's going to be on display in the fan zone, signing autographs, and having her car on display.
Well, I talked with Sandra Holmes last week on the show, and she was telling us that they've got people coming from all over.
Yes, it's a big deal
to be there. So that's going to be fun. I mean, that's a lot of exposure for her.
Absolutely, it's fun to watch. I told Brian, I said, whatever comes of this, I said, I really don't even know. I said, I told my wife, I feel like we won some kind of sweepstakes, and I still know what the grand prize is, because this doesn't happen to an 11-year-old girl that started racing a year ago. I mean, we had a finance bando, a barred lawn trail, with a barred truck to get to the racetrack, not even knowing how it was going to go, And by the end of the year, it kind of clicked, and she was fortunate enough. She got a win down at the Southern National in the beginners race on Friday night due to default, and then she went back the next night and she qualified really good and raced good that night. So we're excited about this year. We built her a new car that I'm pretty proud of. I don't know if it runs as good as it looks.
It looks great. I mean, I looked at it the other day on Facebook. It looks good. So
we're proud of it.
We'll talk more in a little bit about the limited late models, and maybe we'll talk about Courtney driving your modified. Anyway, let's go ahead and get the beautiful Andria Calkins on here.
Hey, y'all.
Hey,
I've never done this
how
before,
you
so
doing?
I'm not even sure if I'm doing this right.
You're doing it right.
Okay.
You're doing better than I am, because I can't figure out what I'm doing right now.
Okay.
But anyway, you're doing good. So anyway, how's it going with you tonight?
Good. Real good.
All right, where's Leland at? Where is he at?
I texted him just minutes ago, and he said he was in a meeting. I think he's on hold to come on.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
Bring him in.
Well, I don't have him popped up here. I haven't seen him come on yet.
Oh.
So I saw you when you got on. I haven't seen him yet, so hopefully he'll be on in a minute. But anyway, So tell us a little bit about your involvement. I know you're involved with a lot of stuff that goes on with Leland.
Oh, well, little and like he's like a kid to me. Like I love him to death. I've been following his racing career for a while now. And boy, he's got a lot going on. He's racing, which the ARCA series.
Yeah.
And last weekend he just raced at Carolina Pro Late Models over at Hickory Motor Speedway.
Yeah.
That was an incredible race. Oh my gosh. He did fantastic. He finished second, but let me just tell you, he raced his little heart out. I'm just so proud of him.
We've known Leland ever since he was a little fella. We ran into him, Scott and I ran into him when we were in Charlotte. I don't know how many years ago it was. He was a little small fella. And he and I had a little thing going back and forth. He was telling me some stuff, and I thought, "What are you talking about?" He said, "Well, when you grow up, you'll understand."
Oh.
He always got his little smart mouth. So I've always teased him about having a smart mouth. So
yeah, he's a great kid. He's dedicated to racing. I mean, that's all he lives for racing. That's all he wants to do is race.
Yeah, I've talked to him several times. Even during the time he wasn't racing some, I talked to him a lot then too. So, it was really cool that he's got the ARCA ride, and he did so well in the ARCA race, and he did well in the Carolina Pros last year. He's a great little driver.
Oh yeah, the kid's a wheel man for sure. He's a strategic driver too.
So, do you follow him to all the tracks?
I'd love to be able to go to all of his races, but I just can't. I can't go to all of his races, but I don't think I've ever missed a race though. I mean, if I'm not there, I'm watching him live, or I'm one of his biggest fans. Trust me.
Yeah, I think we all will. I have to fall in that category too, because I really pull for him a lot. So I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, we had fun this weekend in Richmond with another one of the kids that we've been hanging around with, Roger Caruth. And all he's doing, he's with Rev Racing, and he's in the ARCA series too.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a chance to sit down. Those two kids have impressed me more than anything in the world. They know they love their racing, and they love what they're doing. So I think it's really cool. And I can say I was there when it all started. So that was really cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
So anyway, tell us a little bit. Are you still with Factory Canopies and stuff now?
Yeah, I still own Factory Canopies. I'm still obviously, plugging along. I myself haven't been too involved. I would say in the last year, just because, a lot's been going on. But when COVID happened, it really did a number on the business, not just mine, but a lot of people's.
Right.
So there, like, that was hard because a lot of tracks closed down, racing stopped, and everything went to a pause.
Well, did that have an effect on the supply chain, have an effect on what you all had going on as far as getting stuff?
No, it was more so, when people aren't racing, the last thing, if they're not racing, the last thing they're going to do is order a canopy. And then when the random races that people were able to go to, they were, not many had new sponsors, so canopies weren't changed out. But no, I mean, as far as supply, I don't have a problem with getting people out canopies. Never had a problem with that. It's just, it really just took kind of like a halt when COVID hit. But now it's in full force again. So, and racing's back up hard. And I think since people weren't able to get out there and race and tracks were closed and now it's open again, people are just going for it. And I'm not talking about in my business. I'm talking about in racing in general.
Right.
I think, there was just, it was just sad. A lot was going on in our world that we didn't understand what's going on. I think we all pretty much have a grasp on it now. And I think people aren't so fearful anymore.
Well, I got two guys here that are, they're doing into the racing stuff. I always recommend you all to everybody. So,
Oh, thank you.
so you know that for a fact. I love our table covering we got and the chairs. We love all that stuff. So we have a blast and I'll make sure everybody knows.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you, Jack. I love your show. I love the different talent that you bring on the show. And I love that you give somebody, like, you give these racers a moment to, like, get their name out there and other people to, like, get to know them. And, one thing that I'm sure a lot of people that watch your show, I wish that when they would see some of these racers, it means a lot to them for people to, like, sponsor them, because it takes a lot to race. It takes a lot of money to race. It's not just a hobby for a lot of these racers. This is their career choice in life. And in order for them to succeed, they're going to need to get sponsors.
Well, we've been fortunate.
I certainly have, I've done that a lot for a lot of racers. I've sponsored a lot of racers, a lot of race teams, and I just love the sport. I've been in racing my entire life.
Wow. I didn't know that. I didn't know you'd been around it that long. So.
Oh, yeah. Since I was a baby. I don't know any different. Since I was a baby, my dad raced. And, for a long time. And then my dad, he raced motorcycles. And then he flat track. And then my dad started racing boats. And then I grew up, got married, had kids. My kids raced motocross. And I became like a full-time MX mommy. I literally, everything I did was, around my kids and their racing. And then after that, got into off-road racing, raced a couple little races myself. And I've been doing it my whole life.
So you had the itch one time too to race. That was pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
So how did you stay out of it?
You mean me racing?
Yeah.
I did it in a fundraiser thing. Years ago when my kids were little, they did like a Mother's Day race. So I raced a motorcycle at Paris Raceway. That it was just silly because it was just like my kid's little dirt bike. But that was that. And then I raced in the not Lucas Oil. I raced at Powder Puff. That was fun. I raced a 5-car. And I guess that's it as far as like my racing goes. And yeah, that was it. But I had fun. I think I'm more into supporting and helping other people that love to race.
Well, we appreciate what you've done for us. I mean, the factory canopies and everything they've done for us as far as the stuff they've given us and been a part of it. We really appreciate all that. It's really been, and we really try our best to push it out there for everybody to, be a part of that and go see you if they need anything. And so
that's
we
awesome.
push it out there pretty good as much as we can.
That's awesome. Thank you. I appreciate you guys too. I really do love your show. And I think that the different people that you brought on, and I know, cause I've watched it. I've seen you bring on, and I know you've had Leland on before, and I've seen you bring on other racers that you've had on the show before. And it's just kind of fun to follow racers in their career, and see what they're doing.
Well, with Leland and Rajah, whatever, however you say his first name, with those two guys, they're kind of special to us.
Oh,
and
awesome.
We kind of follow them more than we do a lot. I mean, we got some local kids around here that we follow really good, but as far as on the national level, yeah. I mean, like we told Rajah this weekend when we were sitting there talking to him, who would have ever thought 5, 6 years ago when he didn't even, all he did was iRacing.
Mm-hmm.
And he came he came to his first race and didn't know nothing. And now he's second in points in ARCA. And
Oh, wow.
he's doing a great job.
Mm-hmm.
And he is a media, everybody loves him. And
Oh, that's awesome.
We followed him from the start, and I told him we'll never stop following him, no matter what
that's
goes
awesome.
on. And with Leland, even though he talked a lot of trash to me when we first met, I still followed him too.
That's so cute. I love the banter that y'all have.
Yeah.
With Little, the way y'all talk with him. So, he was just, this was years ago when you met him, and he was just a little kid. Boy, he's definitely grown up a lot.
He has. He definitely has. And done very well too. I'm really proud of the fact that he's done as well as he has.
Oh, that's awesome.
So
I love that you support his, his career too, and that you bring him back on the show. And I just hope that, he can get, some sponsors to help him out in his program.
Yeah, that'd be nice if he could get something going. That'd be good.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, we appreciate you being with us tonight. I know you're busy, got a lot going on, and I thank you for your time. And hopefully we'll see each other. I'm going to be coming to Charlotte in the next couple of weeks, and maybe we can run into each other there. I told Leland I was going to run him down when I got down there, so maybe you'll be around too.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Would love to have lunch with you.
Okay,
let me know when you roll into town.
I'll do that. I'll get in touch with you. Thank you for your time tonight, Andrea. Appreciate it.
Okay, you. Bye.
Bye. She, and the guy that she says she has the business, she has the Charlotte end of the business, and then another guy has the West Coast end of the business. Gotcha. And then I'll tell you, I call her, next thing I know, I got what I wanted.
Right.
I did, and I basically didn't ask. I just said, look, do you have this stuff?
Right.
And
he helped you.
Yeah, they came right on and did it for us. Yeah. So if you need anything from them, they're the people to talk to.
Definitely. Keep that in mind.
So that's a really cool deal. All right, let's go back to Billy for a minute, talk to him about the limited late models, the Smiths, Wraps, and Graphics. Is Virginia Race? Are they going to do that?
Just limited series.
Limited
late models. So. Yeah.
All right, have you been on any of the talking back and forth about the Dominion and Langley racing against each other, racing with each other, or whatever you want to call it?
I hope. Well, now that at first they were going to run on different tires, but now they're based. I think the rules are pretty close to where they can run back and forth without doing a whole lot. I really haven't followed the rules a whole lot as much as just trying to make sure. I want to do my part. Jumping on being a sponsor of the class this year. I think Charlie Bryant did a great job with the class. He got involved, being more than just a sponsor. And I kind of want to do the same thing for the limited as well, not just let's tag it, our name on it, and walk away till next year. I want to be involved as much as we can and help the class grow as well.
So I looked at the list of the drivers and stuff that were at Dominion. They have a pretty good field as of limiteds or Dominion racers or whatever they call Virginia racers or whatever.
I think they had close to 20 last week.
Yeah. They have a. So that would be good if we could get these two together.
Yeah.
But there always seems a little bit of I don't want to drive all the way here, and I know with the with the gas prices like they are and stuff like that, that may hinder some things being moved back and forth. But it'd really be great if we could get them all here.
Yeah, and maybe make a series out of it. Well, maybe it's not every week, but have like 2 or 3 races here and 2 or 3 races there, and then at the end of the year have some kind of something between the class. Because the cool thing about the class is at here, especially, there's a lot of the young and upcoming kids that are going to be in the class. It's going to make it like exciting to watch these kids take the next step in a full-size car, or not a U car or a Bandolero or a Legend car or things. That's where they're going to make the next step to.
And it's really cool to see some of these names, these young kids' names that are going on.
Yeah, we've got Bryant one in there at this point. To race this year for the season, so a lot of history there alone at Langley Speedway.
Right.
Yeah.
So you got. It's going to be a good series, I think.
I'm excited about it.
Yeah. So what Billy and I have talked about was that during the year, what we're going to do is we're going to have the winner of the limited late model races here at Langley Speedway. we're going to have them on the show the following Tuesday night. Bring them on there. And I've also toyed with the fact, and I haven't talked to Billy too much about this really, is having like a driver of the week for them, you know,
That'd be great.
to give them a special difference from everybody else. I mean, you know, the modified boys and the late model guys, they're big and on their own. We don't need to worry about them too much.
And it'd be great to give these guys another platform to help, you know, get some exposure, get their name out there and start building their brand. I mean, it all helps. I mean, you know, these shows, I mean, you give us a great place to you know, showcase our sponsors and come and talk about where we race and what we're going to do as well. So, I mean, it's all these, it's just like what you do here as well. I mean, it all helps what we're trying to do. I mean,
well, that's what we want to do. We want to make it where these guys can come here and talk about their sponsors, or at least get them. It may not be the greatest exposure in the world, but it's still exposure out there. And Scott and I were looking at it while we were in Richmond the other night of how far reaching our show has been that we didn't even know about.
Right. And
so, you know, it gets out there a little bit, and that's what we want to do, even with Robbie.
So yeah, that'd be great. You know, do anything we can to work together, you know, and we'll be back with your show again this year and doing everything we can as well to back you guys. So you just let us know what you need from us to help.
Now we appreciate everything you do. I mean, I know these race car drivers appreciate what you do, and you know, you're a big involvement here. Is, you know, people may not see it, you know, like they should, because you do the wraps on the cars and everything, and you know, guys like Robbie and them get credit for it, but they didn't do anything. You know, you did all the wrapping on. I'm talking.
No, I didn't do a single thing. I just sent ideas.
It's not just me though. I promise you, my wife is there with me every step of the way, and she might not be the designer or doing as much as I do, but it couldn't happen without her.
So do you put her out there? We're putting.
Yeah, she does certain things. There's certain things that I guess I'm a little too particular, so she just lets me handle what I handle, and she knows. Yeah, and it's that she'd rather just not make my day any harder on me than it needs to be. So.
And in the hours you put in, I mean, that you know, you put in. I've seen how the hours you put in, and you're working on Miley Cyrus's car, and you know, you're working on that and getting those done. And I think you have another car that you're involved with.
We've been helping them get that car together for Nevaeh, but the other week we got to the point where we all ran out of time. I told Mark, I said, man, the only thing I think we can do at this point to get these cars done is that you're going to have to take this one home, and we try to help each other how we can. And I haven't been able to help him any at all because I hadn't even hardly touched our car. That's why we haven't been able to make the track and practice yet, because I'm still fighting a few demons of getting a new car together that I don't want to rush until it's right. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to them. Hopefully, once the season starts to calm down, we can help each other a lot more than we've been able to here the last few.
So will you be coming out to practice after Martinsville to get some practice time in before the first race?
Yeah, we're going to probably be here as much, probably at least twice next week before Saturday night. I just at least come out one day and shake the car down and then see how that goes, and then come out one day and make sure we're up to speed and then be ready for Saturday night.
I hope everything works out really good. I think we're going to have a great field of bandos this year, from what I'm hearing.
They're going to be, they had a bunch of them at Dominion last week as well. I think they had close to 15 or so up there or more. I mean, it was close.
Between 10 and 15?
Yeah.
Between 10 and 15?
So, yeah, and I think here, I mean, there's a lot of newbies this year as well, along with, I mean, some of them will probably travel here as well. There's only one night that the schedules overlap for the Dominion Legend Car from here in Dominion. So you could pretty much run about 20 times a year between the two tracks.
So I know at the end of the year, you're going to probably, everything's going to be Langley for a while, but then at the end of the year, you're going to try to go around and do some of the other places too.
Yeah, I'm sure she will make me go back to Kenley at this point, but she really enjoyed herself last year and likes that track and the bank tracks. And of course, next year, we're probably going to try to travel as much as the budget will let us do. So probably take her to a few more tracks over the winter with the winter heat series they have down there going on over the winter with Florence and stuff and other places. We can take her sometimes over the winter and get her some seat time at tracks, you know, while we're waiting for next year as well.
Yeah, Goodyear, Anthony Goodyear's got a good plan going on down there with the winter heat series for the bandos and everything down there. He's got a good plan down there, and I went down there one time. And he didn't have a great field of bandos, but you know, it was good racing and whatever.
So now, yeah, I think they'll grow that more and more anytime. It's like here, probably this year the Bandoleros and the Legends are going to be probably two of the biggest classes. I mean, both of them should be 15 cars or plus, I would think.
I think it'll be a good field. And I like the fact that it's gonna be a bunch of girls in there.
There's a bunch of them this year. It's probably at least half, I would say. I'm not sure any other class that you can say that about, that the races, but I'd say half of them are probably female.
And then the female won the race at Wake, and it wasn't Phoenix Kimball.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Phoenix Kimball to death, but it wasn't her winning the race down there.
It's cool to see the girls getting their, doing their thing and winning races. It's a lot of fun to watch.
You take it and look at it through all of racing. The girl, and I shouldn't say girl racers, but the females are really beginning to assert themselves along the way.
I think it's probably become more accepted and more at this point. The girls are starting to want to do it more and more, that they see it as they grow older. Because the girls now, they got to watching Danica Patrick and things like that race to where, so they seeing things like that. Now you have Haley Deegan, or you've along the way there's been a bunch at this point, but they've had role models at this point to see as young girls, so they realize it's okay to be a girl and a race car driver at the same time.
And Annabeth Barnes, who won she married to Jake Crum.
Yeah.
So I keep forgetting to put that name on there. But anyway, she races at Hickory, and she's doing really well in a late model.
Yeah, so I watched an interview with her on Flow Racing the other day that they do after that with her, and I was impressed with her as well. She's something else. Yeah. I think she's got some potential to move along. I don't know her age right now, but I know she's a little bit older than some of these other ones. But
I think she ran pro late model at the Snowball Derby or the Snowflake.
I think so too. Yeah, I think she did.
Because I think she ran the pro and Jake ran the super.
And there's that Joanna Wilkinson too. She's the real deal too. And Brittany,
I
think she's from Alabama, right?
We've had her on here. She is up there. She's.
I keep up with her as now being the girl that race right.
And Brittany Zamora, who races. She's into some of the ARCA stuff too, but she's got a big late model deal that she's involved with, and she was racing on the West Coast last year with Bill McAnally's son.
Okay.
So that was that's a big deal for all that out there too.
I know she runs Outlaws too.
Well, that's a pretty good deal for everybody, and we appreciate you being a part of our show, and it means a lot to us.
Absolutely, we're glad to be a part of it. We enjoy being a part of it. So, and like I said, anything we can do to help both the limited class or the show to help each other, promote each other.
Well, I'll just let Scott know that you might be taking his spot on the show. He got a lot of harassment down at Richmond this weekend. So. We've had some good people come in and take his place. Josh Ranger came in here one night. I just didn't get him to talk much.
Nah.
And I can't, and all joking aside, no, it is joking really. But them Rangers, man, I'll tell you what, their mom sits right here and I sit right here. and we harass each other back and forth. And she's always talking.
Oh, yeah.
But y'all don't talk that much. Well, I haven't been around you that much to say whether you talk or not.
I talk a lot.
And then Josh's girlfriend came in here last week, or week before last, whatever it was. And she stood right there just like you did, right there at the door. She just kept looking. I said, you can come in here and sit down. She didn't sit down and start, but then eventually she went over and sat down. And then I started getting her involved in. Then she wouldn't stop talking. But she said you heard your mama best friends.
Mm-hmm.
That's weird.
How's that weird?
Huh? A daughter-in-law and a mother-in-law?
Oh yeah, that is kind of weird.
That is kind of weird.
Yeah, that is kind of weird.
What's funny is me and her dad get along more than a lot of people in their family get along with her dad.
Yeah.
Hey, well, you better.
It's not a bad thing.
No.
Look, he's gonna find out someday what it's gonna be like when little fellas start hanging around the house. I had that same problem. But I had a son that was 3 years younger than my daughter. And he kind of kept things straight with him. The kid came to our house one time and his pants were sagging in the back. You know how some of them kids do.
Mm-hmm.
My son opened the door and, what do you want? He said, I come to see my daughter. And He goes, you ain't coming in the house till you fix your pants. And he shut the door on him.
Oh.
That's awesome.
That's great. Yeah.
And one night she was late coming in on a date. She was late coming in. My son turned all the TVs off in the house and everything, and he turned his chair, had the chair turned right to the door. And when she walked through the door, he says, do you know what time it is?
That's great.
And she said, well, I'm not that late. She said, no, do you know what time it is? You best come through that door at the time. And I mean, he just let her, I was working nights at the time. I get all these phone calls. Hey, damn it, he's on my case. Anyway, that's the way it is. So, how you get along with Stephanie? That don't sound too promising.
I mean, they knew each other before we knew.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think I knew Stephanie before I knew Courtney. And that's only because I was working turn one, so.
Yeah, okay. We'll let it go at that.
Yeah.
All right, you got anybody you want to thank and everything before we hang it up for tonight?
Well, I'll tell you, I want to thank all my sponsors, Billy, Joe with Patriot Performance, Jonathan in Control with JD Oval, Dana Hayden with JC Hayden Concepts. He didn't do these shirts for me, but we've got some stuff in the works with some shirts and hats and stuff going on.
Taylor.
Hmm?
The Taylor guy.
Justin Taylor with Taylortown Customs, awesome airbrush guy. I'm sure you might know him. He's tire guy for Justin, and he's come on board with us as a partner this year. Jared and John Satterley, they've helped us out tremendously. We didn't think we'd have the car ready for this year. He helped us out. David Newell helped us out. Josh and Courtney, they've helped me out throughout the past couple months. Had a lot of time to get the car done, but I stressed too much on stuff like that. So
You're just ready to get going.
I am. I'm definitely. We sat up till 1 o'clock this morning talking about what's going to happen next week, and yeah,
It's time to race now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Put all that stuff
Oh,
behind you.
yeah.
It's time to race now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I appreciate you guys being here. And next week, we're going to have Miley Cyrus here.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I was
You just
saying.
gotta come back next week.
You're a fan of Miley Cyrus? Okay. Well, she drives the 89 Bando.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
So we're going to have her here next week, and we're going to have Jesse Owuji, the Xfinity driver, and his crew chief, Racing Jason Huff-Tailing, is going to be with us. We got to hang out with them at Richmond a little bit too, so they're going to come on and talk about their new race team that him and Emmett Smith started.
Okay.
And so we're going to have them on that next week. So
He didn't run this weekend, did he?
no, Jesse had somebody else in the car this weekend. Jesse says he's having a hard time getting used to the Xfinity cars. He was a truck. He drove the
Right.
trucks a lot, but he's had a hard time getting used to it. And they missed a race. I forget where it was. They missed a race. And I think the decision was, let's put somebody in there and get this car some points and get us up
Some
to
knowledge.
speed.
Yeah.
Get it up to speed a little bit, and then I'll try again. But I think that's what the plan is. We'll know more next week. So anyway, but that's what they think they're doing. So it's really cool. Also, in a couple of weeks, I'm gonna have Rajay back on the show again. Want to have him on here and talk about his racing. He's gonna be doing another ARCA race, and so we want to have him on. We try to get him on every chance we get, and so we got some big things planned out for the next couple of weeks.
Awesome.
Anyway, plus we have the opening at Langley Speedway. So everybody come out to Langley Speedway this weekend and enjoy the race. I know
If you'll be in Martinsville, stop by the Call Over 110 and see us. We'll be there all weekend long with Miley. So
hopefully I'm going to be up there for that. I probably won't be here for the opening night, but I'll probably be up there for that. So that'll be a lot of fun. So anyway, thank you everybody for being with us. Like and share our video and drop Scott a note too and tell him, you don't miss him. And so that'll be a lot of fun to get him started. Somebody asked him a question. I probably shouldn't tell this story, but I'm going to anyway. Somebody asked him a question at Richmond. We were standing at our normal spot where the food is. And we were standing over there talking. The guy walked up to him and he was talking about how he got started in the sport and all the things he was doing. He was from Boston. And Scott asked him something about Boston. He said, Boston, where Kari Skrimsky played. Scott said, who? He said, you don't know who Carl Yastrzemski is? Scott said, no, I really haven't kept up with baseball. He said, what do? Walk around with a tutu on all the time? So, needless to say, everybody in that back of the garage was laughing. But anyway. All right, guys. Thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate Billy being with us and Robbie being here with us. Andria, appreciate you coming on. Tell Leland I'm going to kick his butt when I do see him. And we'll talk to you all again next week.